Hello and welcome back to ManVFilm. It's time to look at the March announcements from Radiance. Hard to believe we're up to the March announcements already. We're just about to get the last final bundle from Radiance for December and what has been a fantastic second year from them. But let's dive in and have a look at these announcements. First up, we have a Raro video release from Fernando De Leo. Great. Sold. That's Jack Palance, obviously, on the cover there. What more do you want? I do enjoy the Raro releases from Radiance as well. I still have Revenge of the Blood Beast to pick up at some point. The Fernando De Leos I've got already are terrific. Let's have a look at this one. Tony, a debt collector for a small-time Roman boss, dreams of making it big. He makes Rick and decides to back him up in order to screw over an American gangster called Scarface Manzari, who monopolizes all the crime in the city. But Rick is driven by revenge on Manzari because he had treacherously killed his father after a robbery years earlier. An Italian crime classic from Fernando De Leo. This one rings a bell. Do you know, I've either heard about this or I've maybe seen it before. Yeah, it's a 4K restoration from the original negative, presented with both original Italian and English audio for Blu-ray. Great uncompressed mono PCM audio. Violent City, an archival featurette, including interviews with De Leo, Al Cliver, and editor Amedeo Giomini, weapons expert Gilberto Galimberti, a new interview with Eurocrime author Mike Malloy on the childhood revenge theme in Policio Techie. Oh, fantastic. Mike Malloy is terrific. I personally love his extras. I think he is a fascinating wealth of knowledge, and just the way he delivers those extras are terrific. Really happy to see his name on this. Reversible sleeve featuring artwork based on original posters, new and improved English subtitle translation, and a limited edition booklet. If you add all of the March releases which are here, you'll get a 10% discount. Automatically applies to the cart. So yes, Rulers of the City, I am all over that. That sounds fantastic. Now on to the Radiance releases. We have Je t'aime, Je t'aime. Claude leaves hospital recovered from a failed suicide attempt when some scientists offer him the chance to be part of a project. He will be the first human subject in time travel experiment. Traveling back in time 1 year for just 1 minute, he becomes lost in a continually shifting mosaic of temporal episodes. A noted influence on Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind in Je t'aime, Alain Renoir brings his cinematic obsession of time to the fore in this ingenious melding of sci-fi and romance. That sounds wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I've heard of this one. I don't know if I knew too much about the plot, but I'm sold. 2K restoration presented on UK Blu-ray for the first time. We have the uncompressed mono PCM audio. Interview with critic David Jenkins. Audio interview with director Alan Rene. Interview with actor Claude Rich. Interview with screenwriter Jacques Sternberg and film historian Renoir expert Francois Thomas. In the Ears of Alan Rene, a documentary on the filmmaker with a focus on music and voices in his work, featuring collaborators and critics. Optional English subtitles, reversible sleeve, limited edition booklet, and it is limited to 3,000 copies. Yeah, I mean, the film just sounds wonderful. Yeah. Next, we have The Eel. After serving time in prison for murdering his unfaithful wife, Yamashita is released on parole, accompanied but only by his pet eel. Hoping to stay out of trouble, he takes over a rural barber shop that quickly becomes a gathering point for eccentric locals. However, the discovery of a woman's failed suicide starts a chain reaction that brings back past demons, and not just his own. The Eel won master filmmaker Shohei Imamura his second Palme d'Or after 83's The Ballad of Narayama. Whoa. So that's interesting. A Shohei Imamura film. I haven't seen this one. With an HD digital transfer, uncompressed mono PCM audio, interview with Tony Raines, interview with the screenwriter Daisuke Tengen, virtual essay by Tom Mez on the year 1997 as a turning point in Japanese cinema. That can be quite interesting. Not really focusing on the film, but more as a kind of cultural landscape turning point of cinema. Trailer, new improved English subtitle translation, reversible sleeve, limited edition booklet, and it's limited to 3,000 copies. Yeah, to be honest, Shohei Imamura, like, why wouldn't I want to see that? Absolutely. Next, we have Hardboiled, 3 pulpy thrillers by Alain Corneau. It's a box set. Great. What do we have here? Police Python 357, Série Noire, and A Choice of Arms. Série Noire, now I have heard of that one. Let's see. The hard-boiled genre of crime fiction evolved from the mystery crime novels of the early 20th century. Closely associated with the US pulp magazines, these cynical and unsentimental stories of desperate criminals and social corruption were both influenced by and an influence on the golden era of film noir. As their popularity waned in the US, the hard-boiled genre remained hugely popular and relevant throughout the 1960s and 70s in France, thanks to the successful Série Noire imprint and a succession of new translations. In Alain Corneau's early films, he sought to continue the noir tradition in his native France, and was both directly and indirectly inspired by titans of hard-boiled genre. In Police Python 357, Yves Montand plays a tough cop who, when his lover is found murdered, finds himself implicated in her death and in a battle of wits with a powerful rival. In the second screen adaptation of Kenneth Fearing's The Big Clock, Série Noire adapts Jim Thompson's A Hell of a Woman to the banlieue of Paris, and an astonishing performance by Patrick Dewaere attempts to save a young girl from prostitution with murder the only solution. In A Choice of Arms, Yves Montand heads an all-star cast including Catherine Deneuve and Gérard Depardieu as a former crook pulled out of retirement when a gang on the run turn to him for shelter after a prison break. I mean, they all sound great. Like, it's the first kind of box set they've announced for 2025, and I can't wait. 4K restorations by Studio Canal, presented on 3 discs, uncompressed mono PCM audio for each film, commentary by Mike Wyke on Police Python 357, Maxim Dukablowski on Police Python 357's source novel and adaptation, archival interview with the director, Série Noire set interviews with Alain Corneau, Patrick Dewaere, and Miriam Boyard from Belgian television, Série Noire, Darkness of the Soul, an archival documentary featuring cast and crew on the making of the film, archival interview with Alain Corneau and Marie Trintignant about Série Noire, a visual essay about Jim Thompson's adaptations for the screen. That is something I'm really interested in. Jim Thompson's an author that I particularly love, so I'm interested in that. Introduction by documentary filmmaker Jérôme Waibon. Shooting Choice of Arms, interviews with the cast and crew behind the scenes footage, interviews with Deneuve, Montand and Depardieu from the set, interview with Manuel Lazic on Yves Montand, trailers, English subtitles, reversible sleeve, 80-page booklet, and it's limited to 2,500 copies. Yeah. That sounds great. It really does sound great. I'm really interested in that. Various films, they all sound very kind of different, but very interesting. Let's see, 1976 to 1981. I was just curious what kind of dates they were on those ones. So that is the 4 titles that are coming out from Radiance in March 2025. I mean, they all sound very different. They all sound very interesting, which is why I love Radiance as much as I do. And Rulers of the City from Rero is just, Fernando De Leo. what more do you need? Another exciting month. As the years and months just strip away, I am bolstered only by these periodic packages of awesomeness that Radiance send in. I'm interested in what you think of these announcements. Are you in for the package? Are you going for everything? Or is it just a couple of titles that interest you here? Have you seen any of these films, and do you want to tell me anything about them? I'd love to hear it, so let me know in the comment box below. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. And the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, manvfilm.com, always in which you can support. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.